Chronicles of a Sunlight Sea, Volume 1, Perils of a Prince of Penvash, Princess of Penvash, Chapter 1. Aldolo. His name was Aldolo. He was a prince of Penvash, and he lived on the shores of Penvash facing the Sunlight Sea, did Aldolo. He was a minor prince, with a territory on the north of Penvash, about 50 to 60 square miles, as it were. He was not sure of the exact extent of his territory. There was vague boundary markers which sort of got lost in the brush the more you investigated and tried to hunt them out, and he was quite suspicious they were moved on occasion from neighbouring princes and the like. People interested in expanding their territories at Aldolo's expense. The Sunlight Sea was on the north of Penvash, and it was quite a pleasant sort of place, so there were pirates occasionally. Piggersley was a name which they knew well. He seemed to evade capture well enough, the pirate Piggersley and his merry men, and Aldolo felt he'd get his comeuppance eventually. He'd been raided by Piggersley more than once, and his farmers and maidens who had been lustfully taken complained to him a regular like that. Deal with that Piggersley if you can, Aldolo. But he did not really quite have the resources necessarily, or did not want to commit them. He was quite fond of keeping his treasury healthy and full. Aldolo was in a line of princes and regents, and a duke up the coast who had a bit more power than young Prince Aldolo. He was submissive to the Duke of Penvash, and they were currently planning something against a Federation wizard, an emperor, Astargus Skenpiddelkin, and he'd heard minor rumblings of an apparent assassination attempt which might be underway. He did not think much of the idea because Astargus was doing a good job as far as Aldolo was concerned. Aldolo had a simple life in some ways. Penvash was not quite confronted by the worries of the swarms, but they were gradually now being driven back out of Argon. That seemed to be underway at the moment, with certain powers involved with ridding Argon proper of the hideous beasts of the swarm, the skulls, minions. So it seemed. But life in Penvash was still plentiful and rich with sarcasm and love and happiness and adventure. There was a lot of adventure in life in Penvash, and Aldolo was involved in a fair bit of adventure from time to time, traipsing around the oceans in his yachts and things, surveying his domain even though mediocre and average compared to some. He was full of a bit of pride anyway, as princes of Penvash often had a bit of pride. And he got on with his life, and he did his business, ruled his little minor princedom with the skills which he did have in his hereditary bloodline, and did his job, worrying about economic concerns and legal concerns and crime and punishment and the whole host of things that a prince of Penvash need to take in his job as the monarch of the land. Yes, Prince Aldolo had his worries and his concerns, but that was the life of the prince, and he probably in the end felt he would not exchange it for anything else.